Hello, good afternoon. How the devil are you? Well, it's an interesting day, isn't it? I'm very slow, so I don't know why. So you can tell me if it's weird and slow. It shouldn't be because I've got the most expensive internet in the whole wide world. Um, so I hope you can hear me. Charles Hart, I hope you're okay. Uh, and you've washed after touching such vermin. Charles was at the event. Don't know if you watched it. We went to Nottingham. It's amazing. We went back to Nottingham because 3 years ago it's where it all began. These sort of the away from home gigs, if you like. That's where it all began. And so we went back to Nottingham, and you heard the call. Let me have a look. See if we can give you a little taster of. In fact, you'll just have to go back and look. So anyway, the lovely lady, Karina, she phoned the police, and the police were very nonchalant, and that's exactly how they behaved on the day. So let's have a little look at just how crap the police actually were. In fact, this is a lovely little moment. This is when Karina from the phone call. This is when she has a little chat with one of the police.
Yeah. It's two-tier policing, isn't it? Two-tier justice.
So what we try and do is we try and allow everybody to express, they've got freedom of speech.
So they can come out and shout Nazi in your... I could do that to you tonight. How do you like it?
These women are... The difference is...
Fascist!
I'm trying to help you.
I'm giving it. I'm
trying to help you.
I'm calm and I'm in control here.
I know, you appreciate that.
So the police actually did agree that they should intervene, but they said we don't have the numbers.
Okay, I don't know what's been said there.
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
But so I can't say for anything else.
Yeah, so you just said we don't have the numbers to intervene.
Talk to me about, because it's all happened now, hasn't it?
So, first of all,
I just wish this conversation had happened earlier before the event. And then this shit show wouldn't have happened.
So what I want to say to you is, if you want to go back down there, I know they're still down there, and I appreciate that.
Don't be that guy.
Isn't she great? Isn't she great? Just there's something beautiful about the sort of sarcasm of the Midlands. They do it really well. They do it really, really well, and she does it better than most. And she's very involved. So we're really lucky to have her actually, because she's pretty brilliant. So that was one thing. So we went to Nottingham. We tried to speak. I'm going to talk about the tribunal in a minute. And generally speaking, what the fuck is going on in the world? I'm just going to tell you, we need a Trump. I'm happy to do it. But we need some sort of charismatic figure. I don't mean to boast. Anyway, so we go to Nottingham and we start talking, and we get properly surrounded by what are they? Troons. And we get really surrounded by them, and they're very desperate to stop us from talking. And we've told the police, as you well know, we really told the police. And this, I'll just give you a taste of what it was like for us standing there. And just remember, look, when you watch this, I want you to remember, I'm a slightly different animal to most. They don't intimidate me. I feel very responsible for the women coming. And I'm kind of, I don't know why, but I'm kind of ready for this sort of stuff. And it doesn't really bother me. And they could do a lot worse and I would remain. And I'm still happy to be doing what I'm doing. And I'm really not afraid. And I'm also, I'm also standing here. Whilst I'm probably the main target, they'll do anything to other people to get to me. And so I really appreciate that for some women standing in that crowd, and I know there's a few nutters like me who don't mind, but a lot of the women standing their ground when this is all happening are genuinely afraid. Like, it really does take an extraordinary amount of courage to stand there. They're not all kind of women who love a bit of confrontation like me. And I really want to thank each and every one of them. And I know many people stayed away because the Nottingham police wouldn't come. And these troony perverts and their handmaidens, what they all think is that people don't come because they're so much more popular or they have a bigger crowd. But that's what happens when you're on the side of the establishment, boys, that you'll have more people on your side. You know, that's just the way it is. Outside of outside of some of these cases, these court cases about child rapists, if they're part of a community, the community will come out far more than the people on the side of the raped person. So, you know, don't mistake people turning up for you being on anything like the right side. Right, okay.
It's just because we say women don't have penises. You're going to be brave, love. You're going to be brave. Look, sometimes the purpose of this event is to show the misogyny that reigns upon us when we dare to speak and use the word no. I just say, if they succeed, and we do decide to go and set up shop outside the police station, we still win. Okay, we're going to make this on, so I reckon we're going to have to stop. But I want Nottingham Police to know I'm going to find out a legal remedy to sue your fucking ass.
So what happened? So they were up by the statue where we said we were going to meet. And then with their little duper's delight, so excited about intimidating women. Oh, it was amazing. Oh, there were erections all over the place. So they then came down at like the time that we started talking, because it's not because they're frightened of what we're going to say. And they came down and then they just made loads of noise and then they just went round the back. And so I said we would go to the police station, which is what I already said. That's exactly what we'll do. And let me just say, I'm planning an event in Bristol, Stella. I hope you're ready. And we're going to do it relatively near their police station. And every single police force that we don't think is going to look after us, that's where we're going to do our events. Because I'm not fucking around, boys. And when it comes to this, I want to speak in public. I have a right to speak in public. I'm not a man. I don't have a billboard. I'm not a prick. I don't run into the TRAs and pick a fight. I don't do that. I basically say I want women to come and speak. And those little assholes, they come to me, right? It's my milkshake. So they come to me. And by coming to me, they prove that women in this country don't really have a right to speak. So this is what I'm talking about. And so we're going to go and do it by somewhere, the police stations. And I'm going to go back to Nottingham. So wash your underwear, boys. I'm going back to Nottingham, and I'm not going to leave it very long. If you want to come, we're going to do that. So I will give you a little bit of advance notice, but I'll go back to Nottingham every fucking month if I have to give women of Nottingham an opportunity to come and speak. And if you didn't come and it was in driving distance, why not? That's all I'm going to ask. Like, it's all very well us all going, oh, I really care about it. I'm going to give £5 to that crowdfunding. I'm going to, oh my God, I'm going to sign that letter. I'm going to sign the shit out of that letter. And they're not turning up. You've got to turn up. It's just, you've got to turn up. I know, look, I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you think I've got ideas above my station. Don't care if you think I'm a narcissist or a Nazi for that matter. I really, really don't care. But if you care about this issue at all, you have to come out. It's not for me. It's not for me. At the end of this, do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I go back to a very, very nice life. Lovely holidays. Just a nice relaxing life. I'll just find something else to do. It's fine. I'm not even that worried about going into a space. Like, for me personally, me, not my kids, but just me, most of this stuff doesn't affect me, but it does on the level of it's unjust and it's untrue. But the rest of it, we can win tomorrow. I tell you what, I'm back. I'm retired. It's going to be wonderful. I might write a book telling everyone what actually everyone did and said and all that trouble. But anyway, so we had this other joy that I'm going to finish off with a nice bit, which is the speech from Karina, who's been a bit of a star before, during, and after this event. So it feels quite right to give her such a wonderful little praise right the way throughout this, because she's just dry. I think it's a Midlands thing, this sort of really dry, sarcastic delivery, which is just wonderful. Just wonderful. So anyway, Nadia Whittome, Whitburn, fuckwhip. I don't know what her name is really. I think it's Whittome. So she is the MP. You would have seen her in other things, such as My Dimwit Cousin Came to Stay. She was in that film. And this is what happens when I can't even. So anyway, so here she is.
You are. I could count them on one hand. That is the truth. Our city is not fooled by the likes of Kellie-Jay Keen. We can see her and her hate mob for what they are.
Oh, my hate mob. I think she means women.
They are doing the bidding of multimillionaires.
I'll tell you what, I wish I was, Nadia. I wish I was getting paid for the bidding that I'm doing for these multimillionaires. I mean, I would have liked an invite from Trump to the signing of the equality, the executive order. You know, maybe some recognition for this bidding that I'm doing. Maybe even some gold from the Heritage Foundation.
And oligarchs who want to divide us, who need to divide us in order to hold on to power. That's what their power and their wealth.
That's what their power, and some of their power in the big pharmaceuticals is helping you all get osteoporosis. Like, and that's true. That's totally true. That what some of them are really doing is hoping that you get osteoporosis so they can make more money. Those oligarchs, like not the other oligarchs, the oligarchs that we support, that are helping the socialist worker and Antifa totally ruin society. That's what we're doing for you. And I, as your MP, can be found serving behind the tuck shop on a Friday at the student union. Okay, that's true.
Hands on. We are stronger than that. We can see that when any one of us in our community.
Wait for the community, because it's a fucking big community. It's a very, very long list.
Is under attack, whether it's trans people, the wider LGBT community, people of colour, Muslims, refugees, migrants, disabled people. That is an attack.
People in prison, paedophiles, people that like eggs on a Friday. There are also people that like the light. Some people like the dark. People who like pebble beaches, and people who really do prefer sand. There's also people that really, really like swimming in a swimming pool as part of our community. There's people who are vegan and people who are carnivores. People maybe who don't live on the earth, and also people who like preying on children, rapists, predators, perverts. They're all part of our community. Just not white women. You know, everyone else is part of our community.
Act on every single one of us, and we will stand against it. I'm extremely concerned about
balding women. No, I don't think she was going to say that.
The way that this
Jesus Christ. I mean, look, I don't know whether Robert Kennedy, is that his name? Whether that Kennedy guy is going to bring his health stuff over here, but fuck me, he's got a job.
Trans hatred is gaining traction across the world, from Trump
Yay! Sorry?
To Putin to Kellie Badnock.
From Trump to Putin, to Kim Jong-un and Kemi Badenoch. Yeah, they're a proper group, aren't they? Trump, Putin, and Kemi Badenoch. Wow. I mean, wow.
They are all obsessed with trans people. And yes, I'm also extremely concerned about the way that it's influencing my party. And as I always have, I will continue to stand up to that.
I will continue to put the rights of penises in front of everybody, as I always have done.
Yes, the Labour Party is not banging of the culture war drum in the same way as the previous Conservative government was. But it is not doing anywhere near enough to protect trans people and advance their rights, and in some ways it is making things worse.
Wonder if the announcement about the not pursuing, making it easier, I wonder if that's something to do with her, a bit of a balance there. I don't know, maybe not.
And I know that right now, and often it doesn't feel like we're going to win that fight, but I promise you, we will win that fight.
Oh, she's trying to steal my lines. No, it's I never lose, not we will win. So, sorry about that.
We have to.
Christ, a few broken arms there with the straight to that clap. But we will prevail. Did you see how many walking aids were there? Jeez Louise. Anyway, so let's talk about the tribunal because it was mentioned a couple of times. And I do want to say something about it because it was rumored that I'm not that complimentary about other things, and I'll tell you why. Because most of it's shit. Most of it's wrong. It's really wrong. It's very, very wrong. So Sex Matters talked about digital ID. I mean, as far as I'm aware, they have no intention of the gender recognition certificate being abolished. I might have that wrong. But I know beforehand they've talked about digital ID and about half birth certificates and so on, where people can change sex. And also, I've occasionally people have got a bit cross about, oh, she's gone too far now. She's saying you should be able to discriminate. Damn fucking right I am. Okay? Let me tell you why I'm right and everybody else is wrong. Today, and for the last few days, there has been and the last few months, there's been a nurse who's worked in a hospital for 30 years. And when a man started changing in front of her in the changing room, she said no. Right? She's the only woman in the hospital to say no. The only one. Nobody else is fucking bothered. Nobody cares. He's been treating patients in A&E, looking like a fucking state, looking like a fright, looking like someone that you wouldn't leave your daughter in a room with. Right? That's what he looks like. Looks like the sort of man that, a man in a dress is not someone I would ever leave one of my children with. Ever. Ever. Dress how you please. Kiss my ass. So I would just never do that. I think it's a preposterous lie that when people say dress as you please, I don't think it's true. It might have been true. It's certainly not true now. Like somebody said to me today about, they were transvestites. And I was like, yeah, but that's when trans didn't mean lots of other things. Transvestite was like I probably thought it was someone who transgressed. That's what transvestite meant, that they transgressed sort of social norms. And I probably thought vestite was something to do with clothing. And so, it's men dressing in women's clothes, not dressing as women. Men wearing women's clothes is what transvestite used to mean to me. A man wearing women's clothes, not a man dressing as a woman. Really, really, really kind of fine difference. But it's always these fine differences that make the very difference between something that is true and kind of palatable, or something you can like is tangible, you kind of know what it means, and something that is totally on purpose opaque, so you don't know what they mean. And I'm listening to lawyers, and I listened to the Moira Demon case as well, which I have to say is far more impressive. And just something more clinical about it. Don't know why, it just felt more clinical. Anyway, so in this hospital, everyone else is like, morning, Dr. Upton. Oh, you're going to go and see a teenage patient. Go for your life. Did you have a nice night? Right, everyone's fine. Everyone's fine about him doing that. Everyone. Except this one woman when he undresses in front of her. Now, I don't know if this nurse knew that there was raging perverts in the hospital, but somebody did. Many, many people did. Many women who felt uncomfortable, who worked at the hospital, who felt uncomfortable with his pervert identity, right? And the way he dressed, some of them would have felt uncomfortable. And do you know what they did about it? Nothing. Nothing. They did nothing. Didn't raise it, didn't report it, didn't tell anyone. Why? Well, mainly because they're gutless cowards. And because we know that most people are gutless cowards, that most people are sheep, go along with it, don't give a shit about anyone else, don't care about the rights and wrongs of anything as long as it doesn't affect them. This idea of what's it got to do with you? Well, sometimes it's got something to do with you because you're a human being and some things are right and some things are wrong and some things are worth standing up for, like the rights of vulnerable patients in a fucking hospital. We'll just let that go, right? Let's just let that go. So annoying. It's so annoying. Like, most of you in the chat will be the sort of people that would say something. You would. And you probably can't really imagine what it's like not to. And isn't it really, really disappointing when you realise that that's most people? Most people will say nothing about anything. Nothing. They won't get involved. Not going to get involved. Live and let live. Don't want to get involved. Right? They just don't give a shit. Anyway. So I've listened to some of the stuff, and it's roundabout questions, and that's the way the law works, right? Which is why the law is not going to be the mechanism with which we win this war. It'd be people who make a lot of money. Not saying they won't. Wasn't lawyers that won. Might be lawyers that drafted the executive order, but it wasn't cases that broke it in America, right? It wasn't. It'll be cases that push some of it through the line, but you just need one charismatic leader who says "fuck that shit" and just gets rid of all of it, right? Which is what Trump's done. You know, let's say Reform suddenly get really good, hot on this issue, really well informed. Let's say they ask some charismatic woman to join, and she takes over this particular element of politics, and then they become the government the next time around. Do you think we're going to still need any of this? Do you think the millions of money in crowdfunders will have made any difference in the end? Because they won't. What makes a difference is things that change the minds of the public, that raise it, that put it in their faces, right? That is what changes the public. Now, I get it. Absolutely support a woman who goes to work and is sacked for sticking up for herself. I totally support her in the tribunal. I really do. I think it's marvelous. I wish her all the luck in the world. I'm still really, really angry that nobody else cared. So I just want to say it is the truth that will win. And the Party of Women and Let Women Speak, we want the truth to be reflected in our laws. Now, I don't know, right, what you're looking for. I don't know if I can tell you a policy, but I can tell you that my principles are very firm on this, that I do not compromise. I do not give away our rights. That isn't what's going to happen. We are going to repeal the goddamn GRA. We're going to get rid of the stupid Equality Act, because that's what this is about, right? The Equality Act says that man has a fucking right to go to work dressed like that. And the Equality has that in it because of the Gender Recognition Act. And so then when they made the Equality Act 2010, in goes, they have to include the fucking Gender Recognition Act. Well, no. It's shit. No. It's totally shit. It's just a pervert charter, the Gender Recognition Act. That's all it is. It's for people to lie, to force you to lie. That's all it is. That's the purpose of it. To force you all to lie, to deceive people. That's what it's for. So I propose Graction, which is GRA action. So I propose that we start Graction, which is Gender Recognition Action, which means we're going to get rid of it. So that's number one. Well, this is rather weird, isn't it? Oh, Wendy, I'm going to have to now just block you. So that's one thing. So we have to get rid of the Equality Act. Now, I want to bring back discrimination, right? I want to bring it back. I think it's a great idea. I think you should be able to say, do you know what? The attire for work for a man is this. Now, I remember I think it was Wolf, defending a man on the basis of sex discrimination he was working in a funeral parlor, and he wanted to wear women's clothes. And can you imagine anything so awful? And I remember, because Wolf are very much on the left, that they wanted to defend it on the basis that he should be able to, wear whatever clothes, right? And so it was I can't remember what they fought it on, but it was so left wing, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of pretending that a man in women's clothes isn't fucking offensive, and that we don't really know what's behind the clothing. And they're not just clothes. That's bullshit. They're not. Women don't wear trousers so they can get turned on. It's just not the same exchange. Men and women are different. And while we're on the topic of Upton, I just want to also say this. Nancy Mace is great. And isn't it great that in 2024, late 2024, she finally started speaking up, because since she has, it's been marvelous. But I'm welcoming every woman, even if she's really, really late, to come and join this party. But Trump's won it in America. Trump's done it. Trump and his sons, like his sons were going on podcasts, and they've been speaking about this stuff for a long time. So I'm just so delighted. Right, dear Mrs. Upton, this is especially for you. I'm sure that when you were dating him, and he was this wonderful doctor, I think you met as students, I'm sure that you thought that he's the love of your life. Probably really excited when he proposed. Now, I imagine, first of all, he just wore a little bit of eyeliner around the house. Maybe some nail varnish. Maybe a little bit more makeup. And you said you didn't really mind, but you didn't really like it, and it was a bit weird. And he'd laugh, and he coerced you, manipulated you into letting him do it. And then, I don't know, you either found the photos, the millions and millions of photos, or the porn sites that he'd visited, or you caught him wearing your clothes, or you found a stash of his. But it wasn't ever really just the nail polish. It wasn't really just the mascara or the eyeliner. Those were just like steps in the coercion and the coercive control. And then he says he wants to start doing out of the house, and how he's so vulnerable. And if you talk about your body, he talks about how he doesn't have that body, and you end up feeling sorry for him. Don't want to be a failure. Can't have a failed marriage this early on, can you? So you feel quite sorry for him, and you make yourself really, really small, and you notice that he's got his hair the same as yours, probably wears the same style of clothing, probably has his eye makeup the same as yours. Maybe you're not allowed to wear any anymore because it makes him feel bad. You keep centering him. You've made yourself very, very small. And he's just abused you. And maybe you don't know it. Maybe you do. Maybe there's a nagging something somewhere that tells you that this is all for him. So now you're walking into court with him, defending him, standing by his side when you know that he has, by all accounts, sexually assaulted a woman by refusing to leave a space where she expects to have privacy. And either he's undressed or he's watched her undress. It's incremental. And if you think back to 5 years ago, Mrs. Upton, maybe before you got married, did you think this would be your life? In front of the world stage, standing by a man who you must recognise that he's abusing somebody. You must. You must have thought about it when he said he was going to go to work. Did you never think of the women he was going to encounter at work, ever? If there's a small nagging doubt, if there's something, if you recognise any of this, if you recognise the fact that you're not allowed to talk about periods, bras, breasts, your vagina, if you've got to call yourself a lesbian, if there's any of that going on, you recognise any of it, please leave him. Just leave. It's not a single person that would blame you. And if they would, they shouldn't be in your life. let me just say, Rebecca said there's a lot of men in the goth, punk, metal who wear makeup and skirts, and not once do they think or claim to be women. Yeah, we're not talking about them though, are we? We're not talking about that. We're talking about those that we do. And there are actually a lot of men probably in those cultures that have pretended all this time they're not fucking AGPs, and I'm sure that some of them are. It's a great cover, right? There's that young guy who pretends to be he's like a northern he's got a really good voice, Youngblood. He's a proper AGP. He's a proper lick a lollipop, wear a schoolgirl shirt, skirt, etc. So I think some of these men have always been a little bit like that. But many of them haven't. But we know which ones. We can feel it. We can feel the difference between somebody giving us a fleeting look and somebody giving us a fleeting pervy look. Right? We can feel it. We can 100% feel it. And I don't want any single one of you ever trying to explain away that nagging doubt, that feeling. This is how you're going to escape. Most of the time, this is how you'll escape a really bad encounter with a terrible man. Don't explain away a man's behavior that you know is wrong, that gives you like a funny feeling, that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like that discomfort is your weapon. That's your defense mechanisms. Okay, I want to show you something else. This is a wonderful speech. Again, this is Karina, who was instrumental in organising the entirety of the Nottingham, along with Ellie and some other wonderful women in Nottingham. They, as locals, they organised the Let Women Speak Nottingham. And then what happens is I go up, help introduce the first one, and then lo and behold, they have many more. So I'm very excited about Nottingham. But this is Karina. You heard her on the phone call. You've seen her say fascist to a policeman. And now here is her speech.
Testing, okay. Hello. Hi. This is Karina from the phone call. I do have a telephone voice, so I'm going to try it. I'm not going to use it today. So, hello, I'm Karina, and I'm a hate criminal.
Yay!
A repeat offender. I just can't help it. I've done some very bad things, like writing letters about the protection of women and having an opinion.
Shocking.
Luckily for us, the Police and Crime Commissioner have pledged to help reduce violence against women and girls.
Woo! Oh, they're doing such a great job.
And Nottinghamshire Police have a campaign called Don't Be That Guy.
It's true.
Hey. The campaign urges men to question their behaviour towards women. I don't think that's gone very well today, right? I was going to shout, I was going to look at the mob and then turn to the police and go, how's it going, guys? But do be careful what you say, because Nottinghamshire Police will ring you up and tell you off. Be careful who you tell your opinions to, because Nottinghamshire will come to your house in a riot van. True story. Be careful what shopping bags you refuse in your local haberdashery, because they have the Nazi lovers love sticker on it. Because Nottinghamshire Police will get you down to the station and interrogate you under caution. But I have got a message for Nottingham Shite Police and for the Police and Crime Commissioner Gary Godden, or Gary God forbid. I urge you to consider your behaviour towards women who say no to men. Don't be that guy who ignores us when we say no We don't want men in our changing rooms. No. Don't be that guy who ignores women when we say, we don't want men in our toilets. No. Don't be that guy who ignores us when we say, we don't want you on our hospital wards, or in our sports, or in our prisons. Don't be that guy.
Isn't she great? Let me just, I just want to revisit this and then I'm going to leave you to it. But the court case I'm finding very interesting because I don't know why a man who calls himself a woman is on the stand. Like, I'm sure that must be the NHS's case. Well, he really thinks he's a woman. But he's not. So I don't know why. It just seems very odd. Anyway, the Equality Act enabled that twat to go to work in an offensive a woman costume, right? That's what it did. That's what it does. And the Equality Act apparently doesn't allow a woman a right to female-only space. So this whole case is just so bizarre. I don't blame him. Like, you know, perverts are going to perv, right? I mean, I do blame him, but we live in a country where anything goes. Like, it's nobody gives a shit about offending women. They just don't. And these men can just do whatever they like. It's so odd that we have got to a point. I'm going to say it again. If everyone had done the same as me, if we hadn't had people telling everyone to fuck off because they want to insist on the right language, if we hadn't had people saying it was unkind, if we hadn't had people advertising fundraisers to feminization surgeries for their favorite pet troon, if we hadn't had any of that shit, if right back from 2018, I think I started saying it, maybe 2017, if we had repealed the GRA then, if we'd done Graction right the way back then, we wouldn't be in this fucking mess. We wouldn't be in this mess. America wouldn't have taken over. We wouldn't be in this mess. But watch out, everyone, because I'm tired of waiting now. So we're gonna bring that fight to each and every one of you little perverts in a dress. You may think it's okay to threaten women. You may think it's that you win if we go around the corner, but I'll tell you what, there isn't a battle that I haven't won, and I am not about to start. So just be mindful. You may win amongst your little broken bone selves, but that isn't how this war is going to play out. And I will just bring with me the sort of weapons that you can't fight against. So just be careful. Anyway, Graction, here we go. If you do,
I use public toilets and I piss on the seat.
In the NHS, and get ready, because you're just going to lose, and I'm going to enjoy every single tiny moment of it. Every single moment. I'm always right, as well as I always win. So, if you can speak up, if you can actually get off your arses and come to wherever we are, because this is a big fight. This is, like, what you're waiting for, really. If you do that, I promise we will win. If you can keep speaking the truth, just say they're men. Let's not play this long game. Let's not give the lawyers as much money as they can possibly stuff into their fat pockets. Then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
Maybe the air gave me the drive, for I'm all aglow and alive. What a day this has been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. There's a smile on my face for the whole human race. Why, it's almost like being